11 at the Miller Electric Center. Free tickets to the June 10th practice are still available. Jalen Brunson led the Knicks with 30 points in their victory over the Spurs in Game 1 of the NBA Finals last night. Game 2, Friday night in San Antonio. It's 85 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
All right. Let's talk some Jaguars football.
Let's do it.
Because we have NFL news when it comes to contracts, a few different ones that I feel like could not necessarily affect what the Jaguars do, but certainly be something that the Jaguars compare the future contracts of one Parker Washington and Brenton Strange to. So up in Taylor's favorite team to discuss. Up in Wisconsin, the Packers extended 2 receivers this offseason. Jaden Reed earlier this offseason, 3 years, $50 million. And then Christian Watson today, 4 years, $110 million. If you look at and compare Watson and Parker Washington, they're somewhat similar as far as the numbers are concerned. Watson has played 1 year more than Parker, so that's interesting. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers extended their 2023 draft pick. I also cannot believe that Darnell Washington has already been in the league for 3 years. Like, that time flew by. So he got a 4-year, $42 million extension with $21 million guaranteed. So we'll start with Parker Washington and Christian Watson. It feels like yesterday's conversation is almost obsolete as far as us comparing him or me comparing him to guys that got paid a lot less than that.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's honestly getting to the point where you're blaming the NFL in a sense of this is getting a little out of hand. And I feel like now it's to the point where teams are just like, well, if we like him, we've got to pay him, even if we don't feel like they've quite earned that. And I know a lot of times we talk about the contracts and it's like you're paying them for what they will do, not what they have. You're kind of projecting what you're expecting to get out of them. But it's crazy. I mean, Christian Watson, his best season has been 620 yards. That was his best season. He's missed 20 games in 4 years. So not only do you have a problem staying on the field, and when he's been there, that's one thing. He is a good receiver. So when you watch him, the things he does when he's healthy on the field are good. I don't even know if you'd put it in like great. I'm not watching him feeling like I'm watching a Jackson Smith and Jigba or anybody do something that's just out of this world. He's a good receiver. And but when you're talking about someone who has steadily not been able to stay healthy and your max season is 620 yards and you're paying him $27 million a year, that's just getting a little out of hand for me. And
that's
I think
high cotton.
Yeah. And we talk about Parker had 847 last year. Parker had 200 more yards than Christian Watson did in his best season, and not even as a number one target. And so that's what's kind of crazy. And I know some people will be like, oh, well, Green Bay did have a lot of weapons and they spread it around. But that's kind of the argument with the offense when it was functioning here. It also was that because it was when Strange came back and you had Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington, and there was a lot of ways that you were kind of moving the ball around. You were using ETN in that way. And so I do think that it's getting a little out of hand when it comes to it. But unfortunately, when something like this happens, that's what the league is going to look at. So at the end of the season, even if Parker stays at what he did this year, if he almost replicates it and has, let's say, 60 receptions for 850 yards and 6 or 7 touchdowns, he's still going to end up probably making more than $25 million. And I would say that's like the minimum.
Yeah. Look, the market, you can't control the market, and whatever these agents can get for their players and the teams are willing to pay it, that's what they're going to get. I mean, think about this. So Christian Watson, $31 million signing bonus, 27.625 a year. He's averaged in 4 years. He averages 12 games a year of playing. He averages 33 receptions. He averages 566 yards and 5 touchdowns. He had 6 last year. Now, last year, he comes off the ACL, and he did have a really good year for them in terms of down the field plays. He led the league from weeks 8 to 18. He led the league in yards per catch at 17.5 yards per catch. So 17 of his 35 catches were down the field, 16 yards or more. So they're probably sitting there going, okay, he's healthy. This is what he's going to do. It's not what he's done. It's what we think he's going to do. So for me, like we talked about Drake London, right? His contract. And I was like, man, no, Parker's not anywhere near that. But he's near Christian Watson. I mean, if you look at Parker's catches and yard, now it was later. It didn't start to really Denver. He had a couple games in between where he was, really good returns and all that. But the Denver game on, he had 2 10-yard, 10 reception games. He was averaging like 15 yards a catch. He's making a lot of yak, making some big plays, had a big wild card game. So that's, 5-6 weeks of really good, wow, look what Parker could do if given the opportunity. So they're going to factor that in. I bet it comes in a little lighter than Watson, but somewhere near that. I think we thought 20. I think it's more in the 25 range. And look, if that's the market, good
You
for the
have
kid.
to.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I'm looking at Watson. I'm like, okay, I remember when he came out, speed down the field, kind of a taller guy, not super tall, but a little 6'1", whatever, 6'2", can fly, make some big plays from time to time. But you heard the average, 5 touchdowns a year, and you're giving him $27 million a year. I mean, it is getting crazy, but whatever. Keep making that money because you ain't going to make it anywhere else inside the NFL.
That's true. But Jaden Reed has better stats than Christian Watson and got not way less, but got less certainly than he did because he got the $50 million total over 3 years. So that's 17 million.
Yeah.
Yet he's had in his second year, he had 857 yards. His first year, he had 793, and then a down year this year. You would know better than me, Taylor, as far as whether Jaden Reed was hurt last year. My guess is,
hurt,
So my guess is I was to say he was hurt because he only had 19 catches for 207 yards. But you're talking about 8 touchdowns his rookie season, 6 touchdowns his sophomore season with the Packers, and then the down year last year. Yet he got significantly less average per year than Christian Watson is. So those contracts to me don't really make sense side by side.
Yeah.
Unless they're just projecting Jaden Reed's not as good as Christian Watson.
Not as
moving
much
forward.
of a bigger
Right.
threat,
Yeah,
probably.
because he definitely is the downfield when it comes to yards of reception. It was 17.5 this year. The previous year was 21.4. But it almost is that's what he does. And so there is a way that I think teams had figured out how to limit him. And it has to be. He only missed 2 years, 2 games the year before and still only had 620 yards, averaging 21.4 yards a reception. So clearly when it worked, that's just to me showing that you're getting those big chunk plays. And if you're getting 20 yards a catch, then you're getting to 600 pretty quickly. But obviously that was on 53 targets and 29 receptions. And so
is this more Brian Thomas Jr. contract than it is Parker Washington?
Yeah, you're talking about somebody that's just getting those, you can do those explosive plays, but that's what he's doing. And so that's what it's just interesting in that sense because, you talk about Jaden Reed. And honestly, the Packer fans that I know thought Jaden Reed was going to be the number 1 wide receiver this last year. That was their mindset coming into this season. What it's going to be Jaden Reed's offense. And then obviously you have Tucker Kraft and Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs and all these other guys to mix in. But they felt like Reed was going to be the guy, and then he gets injured. He wasn't even pre-injury. Everyone was a little disappointed. I remember talking to some of my Packer fans being like, "Man, this is not kind of underwhelming."
Like on the Monday night or Sunday night game.
Yeah, it was. One of the primetime games. I remember that happening.
Yep.
Yeah. So only a touchdown and 200 yards in 7 games.
Collarbone. Jones fracture in his left foot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so the Green Bay is such a almost hard one to analyze because the way they run their offenses, and I feel like they've never truly leaned into being like, this is what our offense runs through. But we just played that clip of Liam Cohen saying that, that it's more so when it comes to, he was kind of talking about Brian Thomas Jr. We have a lot of weapons now, so the ball's going to be spread around. So I think it is more realistic if we're having a conversation where the wide receivers are more in that range where you're talking about them having 650 to 900 yards, and you're not talking about receivers having 13, 14, 1,500 yards. So if that's the case, when teams want these guys, they're evaluating the game and what they do. Can you catch the ball? Are you, or can you run your routes right? Or can you get open? Are you making separation? Are you scoring touchdowns when you do get the ball and things like that? And so that's what they're basing it off of. And so it will be interesting. I mean, you're going to be talking about this conversation pretty soon with Parker Washington because we've talked about the names that these contract extensions are coming up with, and that's definitely going to be one. Yep. And so not saying I could see a team this offseason if Parker, let's say he continues on, even if let's just say 9, like I said, around what he did last year. So 847 in 900 range and 6 or 7 touchdowns. I think teams would offer him around 30. I do. I just think that's the world that we're living in. If you're offering 27 right now when we're
Right.
talking about in a
Which
year's
is the
time.
tag number.
It is the tag.
Yeah,
And
27.
so if you're talking about that for Christian Watson, who's missed a lot of games in 4 years, but you're seeing glimpses of, and if Parker can do back-to-back years where it's almost 900 yards and you feel like he's fitting in well with that offense, then I think a team will say, hey, we'll give you 27, 8, 9, 30, somewhere in that
There
range.
is a huge, obviously, size difference between Christian Watson and Parker Washington, which is also why you wonder, is that more Brian Thomas Jr. money since Watson's 6'4"?
Well, and look, you with Parker, you don't have the luxury of giving him a 5th-year option. Like, you got to figure it out now.
Yeah.
Because he's a 6th-round pick,
So
not
he's
a
in his
first-round pick.
going into his 4th year. After your 4 years, you're free agent, as we all know. So they got to figure something out, and that's going to be part of the negotiations. What am I negotiating? I need more than just what you showed me.
Yeah.
I mean, we love him. Obviously, he's going to be a big part of the offense. But as far as how you compare to all these different guys and what you've done on the field, I personally would like another year of that, or at least another half year.
Yeah,
but
half
you
a
may
season.
not have that luxury. They may be like, look, you don't sign now. We'll just wait. And maybe you give us an offer in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll take it, but we're going to focus on just having a great year. And then you're in a quandrum of, well, maybe I should have paid him, taken care of him.
And I think current players on this roster look up, and after what happened with Travis Etienne, after what happened with Devin Lloyd, and obviously Etienne got paid a ton to go to the Saints, but they're going to say, even if I have a great year, this regime may not keep me around because they're not going to offer me as much as I'm going to get offered on the open market. For instance, Jacoby Myers' contract, 3 years, $60 million. So he's right in that 20 million per year range. And so I feel like it's just so tricky because Parker Washington's agent and his camp are saying, but I have yet to be the focal point of this offense.
They're salivating over the watch.
Yeah,
they're like, are you
absolutely.
kidding me? This is great.
Right, yeah.
Parker, just sit tight. We'll
Because
take
Parker's
care
like,
of
look
this."
what happened when I was Trevor's go-to guy against the Broncos, one of the best defenses in the country. Look at what happened. I had 145 yards, right? If you put more of the offense in, through me, like I can be that.
That's the argument.
Right.
Yeah.
But on the other side, it's going to be, but we're not going to make you the focal point of the offense because, like you just said, Taylor, Liam's already said we have to spread the ball around. All right, we'll keep it on this contract conversation. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
Our colors are teal and black.
That is, Jags on 3, baby. 1, 2, 3.
No one covers the Jaguars like 1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Gators in the morning, Florida for lunch, a late night Gator snack. Whenever you're ready, the Gator Podcast channel is too. Set up by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home at ViStar Ballpark this week and weekend. Join us tonight for Pride Night and Coors Light Thirsty Thursday with Hair Band Night Friday and Jacob Berry Championship Home Run Bobblehead brought to you by Roland Reese Plumbing and ViStar on Saturday, plus Kids Mean Day on Sunday, 6-7. Get your tickets now at jackshrimp.com. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable, family, fun.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
What rock and roll band is mentioned in the song Smoke on the Water? The answer coming right up.
For over 20 years, Southern Oak Insurance has given Floridians a better alternative to their current homeowner's policy. See what you can get with Southern Oak. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The rock and roll band mentioned in Smoke on the Water? Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
In Jacksonville, we love our sports. You might say we flip out over them. Football, baseball, soccer, hockey, basketball, golf, and there's our outdoor game, fishing, surfing, and just chilling. There's so much to do, it will make your head spin. But keep your cap on because Visit Jacksonville has you covered. Check out visitjacksonville.com/locals or download the Visit Jax app and stay on the ball for all the upcoming sports events in Jax. Go local, go sports. Jacksonville, the flip side of Florida.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. It is a good living when you make money in the NFL to play football. Jaguars made a few roster moves, signed offensive lineman Tristan Colon, cornerback Dane Jackson, placed cornerback Keith Taylor on injured reserve, and waived offensive lineman Sal Wormley, who they waived not that long ago and then brought back. Ryan O'Halloran on Twitter said that, per a source, Keith Taylor tore his pectoral while weightlifting.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's incredibly painful. And then also pointed out, Ryan did, that Dane Jackson had 2 tours with the Bills, the Bills sandwiching 1 year in Carolina.
That name sounded familiar.
Yeah, it does sound familiar for a very good reason.
What a shame.
I think he was on the Bills when the Jaguars upset them a few years ago, if I remember that correctly. But yeah, all right, so we're talking contracts, and obviously y'all can get on the conversation. 904-641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, and certainly weigh in on this stuff. But yeah, I have no idea when Parker Washington and Brenton Strange will get contracts. I'm going to say more when than if, I think, at this point. But at the end of the day, they're not going to make what the top receivers are making. Or I would say for Parker, he's not going to make what the top end wide receivers are making. Brenton Strange might make what the top end tight ends are making, though.
What are the tight? What
That's
are
what I was about to look
guys? I mean, I'm sure Kelsey. I know he signed that new 1-year deal.
Yeah, so the top ones
Kittle.
right now are the average per year, George Kittle at the top, Trey McBride right behind that at 19. And then there's a little bit of a gap between that until Kyle Pitts. And then there's a next tier with like Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, Dalton Schultz, Cole Kmet, Jake Ferguson, Pat Freiermuth, Travis Kelce, Evan Ingram, TJ Hawkinson.
What are they in?
They're all in like 12, 13.
See, George Kittle only makes $19 million per year.
Yeah.
And yet we said the highest was now Drake London. No, he's not. He's the third highest.
Yeah.
The highest 2 are over $40 million a year.
Right, double.
With
Over
JSN
$40
and
million,
Jamar Chase.
yeah, over
Right.
$40 million a year for the wide receivers. If I'm George Kittle, I'm like, I
like,
should make more because I block and catch, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah, and score touchdowns. It's all that. I think it's the big playability. You know, if you can be that kind of threat and deliver, you know, like the top guys do, you know, yeah, you're gonna pay that top dollar. Let me throw
I
this
think like
at you.
his argument has to be the offense runs through him and Christian McCaffrey, like in San Francisco.
Yeah. All right, let me throw this at you. What you play the Jags and you're negotiating. What's the reason why you're not ready to pay him that top dollar?
Parker?
Parker. Say they come in, hey, we want Christian Watson money, and you say, well, I don't know if I want to give you that high of a number, or maybe you do. But what would be the reasoning for being less than a Christian Watson contract.
Yeah, I think that
Devil's advocate.
Yeah, and I think that for them it'd probably be you want to see, and that's we said also they're a year different. Christian Watson obviously had his 4 years, and Parker heading into that. But then you almost argue, okay, well Parker already hit 800 yards, and he hasn't even been in the league 4 years, and you've had all these coordinators and and Green Bay's had the same head coach, the same guy calling plays, the same quarterback for this time. So you almost, I'm going opposite of this almost, because I feel like you even have more justification of why maybe Parker Washington has deserved that. But I think that if there was an argument, it was just that you want to see it another year. You want to see him, okay, yeah, the year before, when you started seeing some flashes of Parker Washington and Britton Strange, it was mainly and Brian Thomas Jr., it was mainly with Mac Jones. So you finally get this season with Trevor Lawrence. And yes, it looked like Parker, not in the beginning, it took a little bit, but you also weren't feeding him the ball much in the beginning. And then when the offense running through BTJ wasn't working, you pivoted, and that's when Parker started being kind of acknowledged a little bit more in this offense, and he took that role and kind of ran away with it. And so I do think that maybe the argument would be you need to see it another year. That's the only argument I can really see. I know maybe when you talk about he's not that big receiver like Christian Watson is, but then I also think Parker Washington can kind of move around and do a lot of different things when it's on the football field. And Christian Watson, like I mentioned earlier, is more so like that's what he does, is go deep downfield, and if you see him out there, you know that's what's going to happen, so it almost gives it away more. But I do think that I would say he deserves it if I were making the argument, but I could see people saying, no, I need to see a little bit more. I need to see one more year that Parker can handle that type of role.
Mm-hmm. How about you, LB? What would you say?
I mean, I think to play devil's advocate, you can't throw in you don't play multiple positions, right? Like Parker can line up anywhere. You can't throw in the argument of, well, you don't contribute on special teams. Parker absolutely does that.
Yeah.
So the only thing I think that would be you don't have the size and speed that the top tier guys have. Like you're not a true possession receiver, right? Like, yes, he's great with contested catches and he's great as far as the yards after the catch, like we talked about, but he's not the guy where you can just throw it up and say Parker's down there somewhere. Even though he's proven that he can catch the deep ball, he can go up for it at times for sure when Trevor throws a little bit high. So there's not a lot of arguments that the Jaguars can make that he's not worth.
He shouldn't
I think
get it.
I think a contract extension. Yeah, that Watson money almost feels like silly money at this point in time because he's not in the group of guys that. The Justin Jeffersons and Jamar Chases, like we said, Jackson Smith and Jigba's. I guess now we have to put Drake London in there. But those guys that every team in the NFL covets, right? Like he's not in that tier of guys. I don't think Christian Watson's in that tier is what I'm saying. And so therefore I think they might just look at that contract and say, well, this is, akin to how the Browns paid Deshaun Watson that ridiculous amount of money and everybody scoffed at it. There could be people around the league saying, well, that wasn't a great deal that the Packers got for Christian Watson. Mm-hmm. How about you?
I would the only devil's advocate I would want is just to see more of it, but I don't think you have that luxury because you have the risk of losing him.
Yeah.
Well, and the price will go up. You're right, but you have the risk of losing him because if look, anything can happen during the year. So if it's a really good year and you haven't signed him, and he's like, you know what, maybe I'll test the open waters. You guys didn't want to pay me, and or maybe it's an offer he can't refuse. You just never know it. I guess it depends, but. They're kind of in a situation where, look, the kid deserves to be paid because he is one of your superstars on the team, one of your future guys. I don't think he's and my number one would be like a true number one is you don't need the rest of the system to be successful. You can beat whoever in front of you one-on-one anytime, any day, any play. I don't think Parker's that. I think he's great in the system that we have. I think they get him open. I think he gets open on his own alone.
Yeah, he creates a lot of separation.
But I think it's, I think he just fits in, just like I think Jacoby fits in great and his role. And if Brian can get it together and be consistent down the field, then that's going to be great for him, and that's going to be great for everybody. So, but I would pay him. I don't know if I'd pay him Watson. I'd probably, I hate talking about other people's money, but I'd probably pay him a little bit less than that. That would be my offer. And then, you just kind of, I don't know, again, you look at, if you just want to compare Watson's last year to Parker's last year and where they took off, like Parker, it took him a little bit. Yeah. Watson, he was pretty strong throughout the year. So they're probably thinking, we're going to get more of that. We're going to get 17 and a half yards down the field. He did it before. Let's see him do it again. He'll stay healthy. We think he can be a big play. Whether they're right or not, we don't know. That's what they're paying for. So with Parker, what are you paying for? You're paying for reliability, dependability, big playability, maybe not consistent, but enough to where you're like, hey, this kid can make some big plays for us, and a guy that you really like. So where does that number fall? Look, if I'm his agent, I want at least Christian Watson money. I'm like, I can, let's go, let's put it up on the board. I'll put everything up on the board, and let's compare. And you can't tell me he's that much better than my client.
Yeah.
I think my client's is easily as productive as he's been. Maybe in a different way.
Yeah.
But, and by the way, don't forget, sorry, I get a little excited. Don't forget punt
It's just a
returner.
water bottle. It's all good.
Don't forget the weapon he's been on as a punt returner, and that may change with a big contract. But yeah, so look, I think if you're Parker, you're in a great position, because if you don't agree, you got this year to prove it again. They love you; they're gonna go to you, and then you figure it out after that. Hopefully, you stay healthy, you take a little risk in that. But look, you always want to take your value. The hometown. I think a lot of fans would love the hometown discount, but that's not fair to ask a guy for that, especially as a young guy.
Yeah.
You've gotten your money already. You know what I mean?
Contract.
You secured your bag, and now you got a new deal coming up. You'd be like, yeah, I'll take a little less to help the team, pay other people so we can go win a championship.
If you're Parker, do you care more about a 3-year deal or a 4-year deal versus the guaranteed money? Does that matter to you?
I think.
Again, Jaden Reed got the 3-year, $50 million deal. Watson got a 4-year, $110 million deal.
Yeah. I think there's benefits, obviously, to both. The guaranteed money, you'll get. So if you're and Christian Watson wants that because he's injured all the time. So he's like, hold on, let me get this 4 years and know for 4 years I'm going to be making this money. I don't know the guaranteed. I haven't looked into those yet for either of those contracts.
Watson got $31 million signing bonus, so that's guaranteed.
Yeah. So for him, I'm sure that was a part of it because he knows that he's been kind of injury prone. So if you miss another season, you don't want that to affect things. And now for at least 4 years you have this money coming in. For someone like Reed, he's probably like, hey, well, in 3 years I can get another contract. And I was injured this last year, but previous to that, really healthy. The interesting thing is how fast it comes at you. And when you're looking at the wide receiver contract, so making less than what Christian Watson is right now in the 24, 25, 26 range is Nico Collins, Devonta Smith, and Jamison Williams, who I would argue is better than Christian Watson. Jamison Williams, when you talk about what he's done, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, 7 touchdowns in both of those. Devonta's had 3 1,000-yard seasons, 900, 800. Jalen Waddle it has three straight over 1,000-yard seasons.
And Devonta doesn't have to compete with A.J. Brown now. To get the ball. Yeah.
So those were 24 and 25. You got him in 24 and then 25 for the other two guys. So that's how quickly that money went from at that time. Okay, 24, 25 was like, I remember that Nico Collins contract where everyone was like, whoa, you're paying Nico Collins $24 million. Right. And then now all of a sudden Christian Watson, who's only had 620 receiving yards, is his best season, just got 27.
What was Waddle to Denver?
Waddle was 28.
Okay.
So he got 28.2 in his, which is slightly above Watson. Nico Collins is at 24.2. Devonta Smith is at 25. And then Jamison Williams is at 26.
Well, congrats to P-Wash because he's going to be a very wealthy man regardless of where it ends up.
For sure. By the way, just to look at the difference, so Jaden Reed got the $20 million signing bonus, so guaranteed money out of $50 million. So that's 40% of his contract he got guaranteed, whereas Christian Watson, it's 28%. Because he got $30 million over $110 million.
And his benefit is, at least for 4 years that your contract's 4 years long. Jaden Reed if he has a bad next 3 years, then in 3 years you're evaluating that. But in his mind, he's probably like, oh, well, I'll get another big contract in 3 years.
I'd want the money as opposed to the year. And a lot of times, if they go the 4th year, they give you that extra guaranteed money. So you got to factor that in. But it's all guaranteed money now. It's like, because if anything happens, what
We're seeing
do
that
I
for
have?
rookies now.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
All right, I'm going to ask y'all the question on the other side. If you had to choose between paying Parker Washington and Britton Strange, which one would you choose? We will discuss that. You are listening to Helmets and Heels 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, poker players. The Poker Atlas Tour is coming to Best Bet St. Augustine, June 18th to the 28th. The Poker Atlas Tour features 7 events, including the $600 No Limit Hold'em title event with a $200,000 guaranteed prize pool. And event number 1, a $300 no-limit hold'em with a $100,000 guarantee. For more details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hi, this is Dr. George Bari, an orthopedic surgeon who is fellowship trained in sports medicine. If you are a young athlete or a weekend warrior, I treat you with the care and expertise that is needed to diagnose and treat your injury. Come see me at Bari Orthopedics to get the care that you need.
Be sure and check out the expertise from Dr. George Bari and the entire staff at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com. And follow Doc on Instagram at Dr.GeorgeBari.
Buying a home with a septic system? Then there's one step you absolutely cannot skip, the inspection. Know for sure before you close. Call Duck Duck Rooter, Northeast Florida's only master septic contractor with the experience to inspect your system the right way, so there are no surprises later. Right now, take $50 off a full septic system inspection, including a detailed report. The small step that can save you from a big mistake.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Right now at Beard's Diamonds, pay $0 down and get 0 interest financing for 5 whole years. Yes, you heard it right. That $12,000 designer engagement ring is yours for just $200 a month. This makes everything affordable. How about a $6,000 diamond eternity band, just $100 a month? Say goodbye to high interest rates. Get the relief you deserve at Beard's Diamonds. But hurry, this incredible offer ends June 30th and will not be extended. How about a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, only $50 a month? Make any purchase and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 down and 0 interest financing. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, colored gemstone jewelry. Let the non-commission experts at Beards help you find the perfect piece of jewelry and take advantage of our best financing offer ever. Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center, Jacksonville's premier locally owned jeweler. Shop now and enjoy 0 interest financing for 5 years. Hurry, this amazing offer ends June 30th. On approved credit, some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Storms are part of every season. Make sure you're protected. Call American Electrical to make sure you have the best in surge protection. Don't lose your home electronics to a lightning strike. Call 737-7770 for American Electrical.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. If you have a school, team, or group that would benefit from a team store, you're in luck because we now offer team stores. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
ET here for Service Master Restore. When disaster hits, you need a team dedicated to servicing communities when it matters most. That's why Service Master Restore partners with Hire Heroes USA. Together, we're working to bring the unmatched discipline and leadership of military veterans straight to local disaster recovery teams. Because when everything is on the line, you want the best on your side. Learn more at ServiceMasterRestore.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Little Morgan Wallen for you on this Thursday afternoon as we're talking some Jaguars football. If you could pay only Parker Washington or Brenton Strange, which one would you pay? And look, I think we've heard from James Gladstone that they're already working on extensions for both of these guys. So I'm not saying that this is the crossroads that they've arrived to. I'm just, asking a hypothetical question. I'll tell you my answer. My answer would be Brenton Strange. Because the contract is going to cost you a heck of a lot less. We just looked at the highest paid tight end, that's George Kittle. Plus, I think Brenton Strange is so incredibly versatile. Not saying Parker's not, but just looking at what Brenton can do for this offense, I think he's a huge cog in what Liam Cohen wants to do. And so because it's going to cost a lot less, and because I think Brenton Strange is we've talked about it, Taylor, maybe one of the best tight ends in the league once he certainly starts to get targeted more too. That's the whole addition of Nate Borkature as far as adding another really good blocking tight end. So I would go Brenton Strange, but look, I love Parker Washington, so that would be a hard choice for me. It's like a Sophie's choice.
Yeah, I think I go Strange too. I also just think it's hard. It's harder to find a really good tight end, in my opinion, too. When you go through the wide receiver contracts, you're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and being that's a really good wide receiver. That's a good wide receiver. Granted, teams have like 2 and 3, and so that's part of it also. But the tight end one, you get like 14, 15 down the list, and you already start being like, ooh, he's okay. He's not great. And so I think it's really hard to find the type of tight end that Brenton Strange is that can do everything. Now you have the Evan Ingrams, that's more of the receiving side of receiving type of tight end. You have the tight ends that are more known as the blocking, and they're the best blocking tight ends in the NFL. But to find one that's really a really good blocker, but can also pass catch, can get those yards after contact, you saw immediately, and I've said this stat multiple times on the show in the last few months, but I think it's important. You lost 3 of your 4 games when Brenton Strange wasn't playing, and I think that's something that is very obvious of how important this type of player is to your offense. The amount of times when in reverse we talk about defensively, man, the Jags struggled, or whatever team struggles against tight ends. Tight ends are hard to cover, especially ones like a Brenton Strange, and so I think that, to me, just because of the value of a tight end, and then the contract in that, you're not going to have to pay him. The top receivers obviously now are making $40 million. So even if we do believe Brenton Strange
per year, by the way,
per year, if you're talking about Brenton Strange even being a top and getting paid at the top, you're talking about $20 million, and you're getting a very, very good player.
Such a good deal. Just $20 million a year, Tom. That's no big deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I wouldn't pay him anywhere near that, just for the mere fact that he hasn't done that. I mean, you look at Kittle, he gets more opportunity, and I'm preaching for a while that Brenton Strange needs the ball a lot more. I never understood even with Peterson, the kid would make a great play, and then you never go to him the rest of the game. It was absolutely insane to me. Like he's got a lot of talent. So I think that one's going to be trickier for where does the value come in? Where, because you are paying for future, right? Could he be a George Kittle type? Yeah, he could. Could he have those kind of numbers? Yeah, if you target him and he's a focal point of the offense. I don't know if he'll do that. I would go with P-Wash because I know, you still got Jacoby, and I get that, but I think Jacoby on one side of the formation with P-Wash and the other, both in the slot, I think they've posed a lot of problems together. P-Wash is special with the ball in his hands. Sure. He's a little bit different than Strange. Strange is more power, break tackles, where P-Wash is going to break your ankles and make you miss and get upfield. I'll throw in the punt return. He's very dangerous with returning the football. I'd still like to see him get occasionally, like if there's a long one, with a lot of yardage out there to bring one back. So I would probably go Parker Washington. I mean, the market. It's only going to go up. Even 5 months from now, it might go up. You know what I mean? Find a value that you can agree on, be happy with, that he can be happy with, and let's roll with Parker Washington. I like Strange a ton. I'm interested to see what Koziel and the Borkature kid can do.
And that's what some Jags fans believe, that they drafted Borkature to replace Strange. I don't think any of us think that, but there are fans that think that. And by the way, someone like a Cole Kmet, who has similar stats to Brenton. Brenton's obviously not been in the league as long as Cole, makes $12.5 million. So when we talk about $19 million per year, that's at the very top. There's a pretty wide range.
It goes to 15 after that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they found something there, but I mean, look, I'm looking forward to seeing them both. I'm glad we don't have to make that decision right now. But again, it's the same thing with P-Wash that it is for Brenton. They're going into their 4th year, and there's no 5th year. So you have to figure something out now, and that's where that value gets tricky. The agent's going to say this, you're going to say this, and hopefully you can find some meeting in the middle.
That's right.
That's a fair market value, because you are going to you probably give a little extra for, hey, we really like you, to make you feel good. And I'm not talking millions and millions, but a little bump to say, hey, man, this is where we think you're valuable. We like you. We're going to give you a little bit more, and then let's go ride. That kind of thing. I can see that, but
we'll let you use the Kismet as a bonus.
Yeah, but they gotta. Yeah, that'd be a nice little added bonus. But they look. You're talking about 2 young players that I think although you didn't draft them, they're not your guys. They are your kind of guys. You can build with them, and I wouldn't want to see that young talent, especially Parker, because look how he's like his. If he was on a chart, his arrow would be like straight up.
Yeah.
You know, he's gotten better and better and better every year. I'm expecting to be even better.
And I feel the same way about Britton if he hadn't gotten hurt and had to miss 5 games last year. But
he did.
He did. But I'm saying as far as like
in.
the excitement of what he could do once they start targeting him more, plus him staying healthy, assuming that he stays healthy.
But it wasn't like they I think he was getting about 5 targets a game is on average. So
right, because they needed him to block, which, we've talked about. This one from the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. I would have traded Parker, Strange, and the whole damn draft for Myles Garrett. Myles, Trayvon, and Josh playing at the same time would be killing it. You can replace those other guys. That was definitely a different take, but I understand. Wanting to get a guy that could get over 20 sacks per year is certainly something. And I don't know what type of defense you play with all 3 of those guys out on the field, but I'm here for it. I guess you move Trayvon inside.
Yeah. And that's what, speaking, as I just mentioned, some of those wide receivers around, if we're talking about Strange, kind of comparing those contracts and what it looks like and how quickly it changes, similar to what I just did with the wide receivers. When you talk about the tight end contracts, Isaiah Likely, for example, he is 5th right now, highest average salary per year. Granted, like I said, it drops because it's 19 for Kittle, 19 for McBride, and then it goes 16 for Hawkinson, 15 for Kyle Pitts, and then 13 for Likely and Andrews. Likely's had like 400-ish yards every season, not much more than that.
No, right.
Cole Kmet, who everyone judged that contract, who now is only $12.5 million, was coming off a over 700-yard season with 6 touchdowns and hadn't dropped a pass in 3 seasons. And so that's like how quickly that changes. He got signed that year, and it was a lot of money at 12.5 for a 700-yard tight end. The next year, a 400-yard tight end gets paid a couple $1 million more.
Yeah. I mean, look, and again, if you're Brenton's agent, you're saying, well, look what we could be. Are you telling me I can't be a Trey McBride?
Right. Who had
Are you telling me I can't be that?
Over 1,000 yards the last 2 seasons.
Right, but that means you're focusing more on, you know what I mean? It's not just, hey, he's out there. You got to like strategize and get him the ball for that kind of production.
And once again, there's only one football, there's only one quarterback, and how are they going to decide who gets the ball when? That's what's going to be interesting, but it also keeps defenses on their toes.
Oh, yeah.
That is for sure. All right, Tom's take on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
You know what we're talking about. You played the game.
I think he did when he should have jagged on that play.
1010 XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to make sure your property is ready. Weak, damaged, or overgrown trees can become a serious hazard when storms move in. Trust the experts at Lucas Tree Service with over 45 years of experience for professional tree trimming, removal, and storm preparation. Don't wait until a storm is on its way. Schedule your tree assessment today at lucastreeservice.com.
Get ready for PGA Tour champions to return to Hammock Beach Golf Resort and Spa for the 2026 Constellation Furyk and Friends, October 9th to 11th.
Hey everyone, this is Jim Furyk. Join us this fall for world-class golf, incredible food, live music, and an unforgettable weekend on the iconic Ocean Course.
Plus, don't miss country music star Billy Currington live at the Furyk Foundation concert on Friday, October 9th. For tickets and info, visit ConstellationFurykandFriends.com.
Imagine this. You and your buddies outside enjoying the warm weather. The grill is fired up, steaks are sizzling, drinks in hand, and you're all hanging out around your brand new outdoor kitchen. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living can make it happen. From custom outdoor kitchens to fireplaces, fire pits, and more. They bring your backyard dreams to life. You dream it, they build it. Visit CSSFireplaces.com and make your backyard the place everyone wants to be this season.
Ace Carline here for Atlantic Infinity, and yes, I'm still loving my new QX60. Right now, you can lease one or lock in just 1.9% financing for 60 months, and every new Infinity comes with the Atlantic Infinity Promise. That's over $7,000 in added value. That's one of many reasons why I bought mine there. No pressure, no games, just a great experience. Make your next ride an Infinity from Atlantic Infinity. Visit AtlanticInfinity.com or the showroom near Atlantic and St. John's Bluff.
What Major League Baseball team has never been to a World Series? The answer next.
Southern Oak Insurance is proud to continue offering coverage statewide. Financial stability makes Southern Oak Insurance a wise choice for your homeowner's insurance needs. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The Seattle Mariners, who were founded in 1977, have never been to the World Series.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hey, it's Greg, and I'm now 4 weeks into my Awaken 180 journey to lose 40 pounds in 10 weeks, and I'm already down over 20 pounds. That's average 5 pounds a week. I'm eating real food, good food, and feeling satisfied. And yeah, people are noticing. I'm getting comments like, "You're looking slimmer," or "When's the last time you wore that shirt?" That feels pretty good. You know, some people ask, "Hey, are you taking the shots or pills or whatever?" But my doctor advised me about the potential long-term side effects and the commitment. You know, shortcut was not the answer. I wanted a realistic solution that definitely works. A clear plan with an actual human coach so I'd learn the right way to lose weight quickly and safely and keep it off. And that's exactly what Awaken 180 has given me. A clear, easy plan to lose 40 pounds in 10 weeks. And I'm already halfway there. So look, if you're unsure or been putting it off or like me, just finding excuses, I'm proof that Awaken 180 works. How would you feel being down 20, 40, even 100 pounds? Make the choice. Go to awaken180weightloss.com.
Picking here, or maybe you should call me Dreamfinders Danny. Look what Dreamfinders is doing again, an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down the rate and get in the game. You heard me right, a 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. RJ gives us this look when y'all are still talking and we're already on air, and he's like, I don't understand.
I could hear music and me and Tommy
Sorry,
are just
RJ.
like, and anyways.
RJ just because he
Just
looks
yell
like,
at us, man. Just be like, yo!
He's like, I waved the hand. That means alert, alert.
Hello.
All right, let's find out what's rattling around in Tom's brain.
Now, Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com, or dial pound law. That's all.
All right, my take today on this beautiful Thursday afternoon,
He
brought
has a
to you
thought.
by Morgan
It is
& Morgan.
beautiful.
What's that?
I said he has a thought.
I have a thought, and my thought is I won some money last night. I sure did. I was sitting there on the couch after dinner with some wine. I was like, you know, I have a gut feeling the Knicks are going to win tonight. I had no idea why, other than Brunson, because I think he's a stud. And when he hit that first three, I was like, And I know they went down and they came back. I ended up falling asleep, so I did not watch.
What time did you find out that you won the money?
I got up really early, so I actually just saw the win. I didn't go to the Hard Rock bet. I just saw the win. I was like, oh, I won some money.
So like 5 a.m.?
Yeah, like 5:30
Okay.
this morning.
All right.
Yeah.
So at no point did you wake up in the middle of the night and go, did I
Let me
win
see
money?
if I-
Because that's what I would have done.
No. And I did get up before that. I didn't even think about it, I guess. But yeah, anyway, so my take is go bet that money. No. You know what I'm thinking, though? I am thinking, like, all right, let's roll the winnings. And I feel like San Antonio will take game 2. I don't know why I feel that way. I just feel like they're back at home. Their back's against the wall. They don't want to go 0-2 to New York. That's gonna be a tough thing to come back from. I think they work it out. I haven't made the bet yet, but that's what I did last night. And what's my takeaway? I had a lot of fun, not even knowing that I made money last night until I woke up. And that's my take. Brought to you by our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com, and on your cell at Pound Law. That's all.
Yeah, I feel like tomorrow night, because the game's on a Friday night, I feel like sports bars all around town are going to be rocking.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
a little different on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, look, I think at the end of the day, your gut feeling is because you expect Wembanyama to probably play a little
To
bit
come
better.
back, yeah.
Yeah, and I get that. It was interesting that he needed to sit for a little bit towards the end of the game because we had talked about that whole Chinese monk training that he went through over the summer. And so, or whenever it was, spring. And so I kind of expected like he would have the same type of motor that everyone else would. Not motor, but endurance. That's the better word. But yeah, RJ, you're our NBA expert. So what'd you think about Karl Anthony Towns being able to defend Wemby?
It's certainly going to take a group effort, but I think Karl Anthony Towns is going to be the main assignment on Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah,
got to give it to him. I mean, he did a great job.
They're physical with him.
Oh, I think this whole entire NBA Finals is going to be a physical one. I think each time time the buzzer sounds, you're going to find yourself having a new scratch.
Yeah.
I think Brunson's going to be refed fairly difficult. I think Wemby as well. I just think, tic-tac is not going to be the name of the game in this NBA Finals series. So
did you notice, I know you noticed this, but early in the game, I forget the player on the Knicks, but he had a drive to the hoop. It was on a turnover, and he tried to Wemby blocked it, but he tried to run into him.
Josh Hart.
To go after him, to bruise him up a little. And then Wemby turned around and just blocked it. It was an unbelievable play by Wemby. But I thought I'm like,
blocks.
They're going to physical him up, right? You got to see if that guy can take the pounding, I would imagine.
I mean, I think they're going to try to get this guy in foul trouble as best they can. I think he does a great job of moving without fouling, and being defensively sound without fouling. But I think for the rest of the guys, such as Keldon Johnson, who comes off the bench for the Spurs, he was trying to get in there and get physical as he could. Josh Hart's going to be a guy that's going to be incredibly physical as well. OG.
He was, by the way, RJ's X factor. Josh Hart was if the Knicks were going to win. He didn't have a great shooting night, but he had 15 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
I mean,
a couple early fouls too, so that was good. He stayed out of trouble.
But I mean, he's also a guy I think that's going to look at Mike Brown. I think after he picked up his 3rd foul, kind of looks at him. Don't take me out. I got it. And that's just the way the Knicks are playing right now. I mean, they're probably one of the more well-bonded teams, really, that we've seen in the entire NBA postseason. So, but I do not look at this San Antonio team and saying that they're going to quit. No. I think a team like what we saw against Cleveland for the New York Knicks, and they end up quitting after game 1. Yeah, nobody's quitting. Nothing. In this series.
We talked about kind of comparing Jalen Brunson and Walter Clayton Jr., and that's what it reminded me of last night. Like when needed to come in clutch to be able to score 13 points in the 4th quarter for Brunson.
Yeah.
But this is to me how you know, sorry, Taylor, this is to me how you know that Wemby is a massive superstar. More people at water coolers in America today are talking about Victor Wembanyama, even though the Knicks won.
Yeah.
Like that to me is a verified superstar.
Yeah. He looks it's easy to watch and be like, this guy is just a freak of nature and how he looks, and you see the size and you see all of that, you see the blocks, you see everything he does defensively. And it made me think of I want to say it was that last game against OKC, because he was in foul trouble in the 3rd and was able to avoid getting another foul for the rest of the game, which is wild because you're a defensive player and that's what you're known at. But to your point, RJ, when you were just saying he's really good at avoiding that when he needs to, he's obviously a physical player, but he doesn't have to get, if he's in foul trouble, he can avoid getting out of the game because he's able to just stand there and put his hands up. So it is interesting because I'm I don't know if anybody really had a good shooting night. Your 2 top point scorers, I mean, Jalen Brunson was 12 for 31, just to your point, Lauren, right when he needed to hit all of those. He had that moment where he was coming in clutch, the late 3, that was one of the probably biggest shot of the night for him. And then obviously Wemby with 6 for 21. When you look at overall numbers for the teams, the Knicks were 41.5 field goal percentage and the Spurs were 36%. And then on the beyond the arc, it was 30.6 for the Knicks and 25.6 for the Spurs. So not a great shooting night for anybody, and some of that may be the physicality and not getting some of the calls maybe. Do you think that will change the way that they shoot in this series, RJ?
No, I think there's going to be one of the 2 teams they're going to have a hot shooting night. We saw Julian Champagnie in the first half, incredible shooting night for the San Antonio Spurs. Unfortunately, games are not won in the first half.
And the Knicks know that because they had to come back against the Cavs without game 1, to your point.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand, especially in the playoffs. I mean, no team is really looking to lay down. I mean, in the past, I think we saw it. There were some teams, if you're up, 10 plus, maybe 2 minutes left, it's, kind of giving you the thumbs up.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys in game 2. Not these two teams. Nobody's quitting. And, if anybody, who's listening to this thinks, San Antonio is going to quit and this is going to be a 4-game sweep. San Antonio kind of reminds me, I think McManus would probably appreciate this. You understand, like, the person when they well up and they start crying, like they want to fight, and it's just like you saying, you're like, oh no, here he go. He's going to swing at somebody.
Right.
They remind me like of that, but just a much more composed person. But it's like, ooh, I want to kick this. And I feel like San Antonio is going to be that, and New York's kind of the same thing. So this is going to be probably like an all-time classic series in my opinion. I don't think this is going to be.
So put money
like
on San Antonio to win is what you're telling me, right? So
I mean, if I had to guess it right now, I think San Antonio wins game 2. I think they understand that we go to New York down 0-2.
Big trouble.
We can't. We're probably going to have to book a hotel in Connecticut. We can't be in the city. Like
Victor Wembanyama's by all those celebrities.
I can't be in the city.
Trying to date half of them during the game. Like, hey man, give me your number.
Yeah, I can't do anything.
Playing basketball? No, I'm playing baseball.
Yeah, they'll have to travel to Manhattan for game 3.
I hope we go 7, just because it is so much fun to watch, and I'm excited for a guy like Jalen Brunson, who probably doesn't get the notoriety that he deserves. So yeah, Knicks won 105-95. So 1 by 10 after being down by 14 in the second half. All right, Lauren's Lane on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
We love winning, and 1010XL wants you to win our contests. We also like to share the winning. That's why we ask you to wait 30 days to win again, so others get a chance to have the winning feeling. Find complete contest details at 1010XL.com.
Dinner tonight? Make it easy and make it something everyone will love. With the Flame Broiler Family Meal Plan, you can feed 4 fast with fresh, flavorful options. You get 20 ounces of your choice of protein. Mix and match your favorites, plus steamed rice and a fresh veggie medley. It's a complete no-stress meal the whole family can agree on, starting at just $34.99. Skip the cooking tonight. Bring the family together and stop by any of Flame Broiler's 5 locations today.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Jacksonville is thinking teal, and so are Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. It's Jaguars Today, breaking down everything Jags and NFL. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. Weekdays 10 to noon on 1010XL.
You may not be able to control the air you breathe on the outside, but you certainly can on the inside of your home. Just call Florida Home AC and ask about the Remy Halo. It's the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, Hicken here, folks. It's happening. It is happening. We're going fairway, lush, and green at the Hicken household for, topdressing.com. Treated my yard, and I'm telling you guys, another company cannot do what they do. They have the custom equipment, that secret mix. You can't buy it in the store. Heck, it takes a year to make. With topdressing.com, you're amending your soil, and it's thriving. Make your neighbors jealous. Get to topdressing.com today or call 888-850-1850 for your free estimate.
Let's go! Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening the whole group can enjoy? Discover the thrill of Sharks football. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. This week, it's Christmas in June. Be one of the first 2,000 fans and receive a free hat, courtesy of Fat Cat Tattoo. Get out of the heat and into the arena this Saturday, June 6th. Kickoff, 7 o'clock, and tickets start at just $15. Wear your favorite ugly sweater, Santa hat, or any holiday gear you can find. Let's sing some carols, have some fun, and watch some exciting Sharks football. Bring the whole crew and try our family pack. Get 4 tickets and $50 in food or merchandise vouchers for only $100. Join us on the field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at just $15. To get yours, call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks! Hicken here. Experience crystal clear vision with the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, Jacksonville's leader in advanced eye care. From routine eye exams to specialized vision care, their experienced team dedicated to improving and preserving your vision. The same care you've come to trust, now with a new name. To schedule your appointment today, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
I'm Chris Wayne with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Florida Gators landed 4-star recruit Kennedy Jackson this week. The 6'6", 300-pound tackle chose the Gators over SEC rivals Georgia, LSU, Auburn, and Tennessee. The 82nd annual Tax Slayer Gator Bowl will be played Wednesday, December 30th at 11:30 a.m. Televised nationally on ESPN and broadcast live on 1010XL. It's 84 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Aaron Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Let's talk a little college football, shall we? Time now for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
A few things to run through here. First and foremost, for all of the other Gator girls that are out there listening, Florida Victorious yesterday posted on its social accounts, mark your calendars, ladies, for July 24th. You asked, we listened. The only thing I can think of is that it's going to be like a women's football 101 or a ladies huddle, which Florida has had in the past. To my knowledge, the last time Florida did any of that stuff was when Jim McElwain was the head coach back in 2016 and 2017. My mom and I went to a women's football 101 at UF in 2005 when Urban Meyer was the coach, his first year as the coach. They put you through drills on the field, then you go inside, you get fed, whatnot. You get little, people to talk to you like within the organization. Just
Urban get the women to play center. He's the quarterback. No shotguns.
Good view back here.
I don't remember.
Spread out a little bit. Don't worry about it. I'll be up there in a minute.
Don't remember that
with this technique.
But now that you say it, maybe it did. But yeah, I remember walking away from that one.
That's how lanes would go.
That's true too.
Yeah, totally.
Well, depending on how the age of the women.
Yeah.
But I remember Dan Mullen just being such a jerk when we were there for that.
Really?
Yeah, women's football 101. So we kind of walked away where you're like, eh. And then of course Dan Mullen ended up being the Florida head coach many years
Did you
later.
learn anything? Or are those things effective for women? Or is it just a fun time and they just have a good time?
I haven't been to it now, and it's been 21 years. That was like around when I was in college,
So
and
Herbs
so
didn't teach you nothing.
I don't remember, honestly. It's been too long. And then I went to one that the Jaguars held back. That would have been like 13 or 14 years ago now.
Okay.
And that was when Mike Mularkey was the head coach.
Oh, yeah,
and that
Coach
one was,
Mularkey.
I think, football, on the field football drills only. I don't remember there being like a separate.
Like a session.
Like lunch and or dinner. Yeah. And then speaking engagements. I don't remember it being like that.
I would think a Q&A would be most effective because I would imagine people, women in this case, would have a lot of questions. You know, instead of running them through drills, okay, you show me how you work out, great, but teach me the game.
Right.
Like, I know you can do some on the field, but
that's one of the things I wondered is, so my mom and I were like, well, we'll go again, right?
Yeah.
But I wondered, like, is there a group of like women, and this is going to sound so incredibly egotistical, but like, can I go in the advanced group, please, of the women's football? Like, is there a football 102 maybe that I can go in just because that is what we do for a living?
Yeah.
But again, that sounds really egotistical. Like, hey, I know a lot.
No, I mean, I think
I don't want to sound
I think
like
they could have. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have level like a 101, a 102, whatever. And if you feel like the basic one is here's the line of scrimmage, here's the 10, every 10 yards like space that because some people really don't know even the basis of that, and that's. Men and women. I know men in my life that don't know it either. They just don't watch sports like that. And so but a lot of my girlfriends, like while we're watching games, will ask me just things where I thought was kind of common knowledge, like it was just an easy thing to know, and it's just not, because they don't know the information like that. So having something for just like the base, and then maybe some of the drills for those people, because they'll probably get bored sitting there and learning what like a flat and curl route and all of that stuff is.
Yeah.
So have the basics and some fun drills for that group, and then have a 102 that's a little more intricate when it comes to some of those things. And I feel like you could grow, it could be something really fun that you could do yearly, honestly.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like you can separate it, and then I think the most effective way is like
Drawing
throw
on
us
the
your
board.
questions. Let us. What do you? Well, show me cover two. Like
Yeah.
girls might be like, well, what is? Show me quarters, or show me blitz, whatever, blah blah blah, whatever. Like you're a little more advanced, right? Whereas the introductory would be like, all right, here's the field.
Yeah.
This is the 50.
This is a helmet.
this.
Yeah.
There are things. Maybe not that.
No, I know.
But you know what I'm saying.
Safety is a position, and it's also a play. I've had my friends get
there
confused
you
with
go.
that.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of questions
Yeah.
that are out there that you could probably answer and take notes and get an idea of what you're really
Sure,
watching.
and even
out there.
honestly, even if some people didn't learn anything, still getting like a picture with John Sumrall or getting to tour the facility that
Yeah,
I haven't
totally.
gotten to go to, right? Like there's a lot of different layers in all of it.
Yeah.
And if you get to go to a certain part of the stadium that maybe you've never been to, like there's some cool aspects of
Yeah.
it, regardless of that educational side of things. And so
Yeah.
it will be interesting. I am very intrigued to see what happens. And we'll
So the
we'll
football
keep everyone
101's
posted.
not for the education; it's for the experience.
I think it's both. It depends on
Okay.
what you're coming into it.
So maybe we shouldn't call it
to do.
football 101. We'll call
And
it
that's what
Sunday.
the most recent times that
Ladies'
Florida
night
had
out
it.
at
It
the
was,
football
Ladies' night
it was
out,
a
yeah.
ladies' huddle is how they termed it
Yeah.
back
Okay.
when McElwain
Yeah,
was the coach. It was from 4:30 to 8:30 at the Swamp. And
Yeah.
then, but this again, all they posted was, "You asked, we listened. Mark your calendars."
Yeah.
And it's the day before my birthday,
That's
so that's
cool,
the
though.
other reason I was like,
Okay.
Yeah.
"Well, I think this will be a fun activity for my
I'll
mom
be like,
and I
hey,
to
Coach
do."
Summerall, is that X where you have the quarterback Aaron Philo or Tramel Jones?
Which is funny you say that. Yesterday he posted a picture of both of them lying down, I'm guessing after like a workout or whatever. And so people were like, "Oh, he let us know which one the quarterback's going to be." No, of course he did. But yeah, I will be asking those questions. All right, more to do in college football. I absolutely did want to talk about John Sumrall landing 2 recruits, a 3/4-star defensive lineman, Zahamar Tooks, and then a 4-star offensive tackle, Kennedy Jackson. He is 6'6", 297 pounds.
Ooh,
The
tackle?
Gators, the
big
tackle.
boy.
The Gators 2027 recruiting class is now
Jeez.
4th in the 24/7 Sports Composite team rankings behind Texas A&M, Oklahoma, and Miami, and then it's 5th in the On3 behind those 3 schools, and Texas Tech. One had a spot of Notre Dame. So when I read to you again, those schools, Texas A&M, tons of money. Oklahoma, tons of money.
Yep.
Miami, tons of money. Florida, not nearly as much money. Texas Tech, also tons of money. Notre Dame, probably not as much as far as the NIL dollars are concerned.
I heard they're
Florida's not?
actually kind of high this year.
Okay, so I mean, obviously Notre Dame is expected
Did
to
you say Florida's not?
compete. Florida's
They're
not
not.
near the
The top,
elite
right? Yeah,
tier.
yeah, but
He's
I've heard-
pretty
trying.
up there.
He's
They're
Yeah,
trying.
I've
pretty up
heard
there.
like 30 million versus some of the schools that are 50 million.
Yeah.
Put it that. And so LSU, interestingly
Mhm.
enough, not in this. Again, a lot can change between
Yeah.
now and then.
Yep.
But I just thought that was great job by John Sumrall coming off of a 4-win campaign from the previous head coach
Mhm.
to now be this good in recruiting. And then this comment I think is absolutely fantastic. So most people around here know who Charlie Ward is. Both obviously a basketball
yeah.
star and a Heisman Trophy
Oh,
winner at Florida State.
unbelievable.
He's now the head coach for Florida A&M men's basketball.
Oh, cool.
He had this to say. So
Alright.
Nick Saban yesterday went on his not rant, but Nick Saban was asked a bunch of questions in those government meetings. And Nick Saban talked about how NIL is going to kill college football, right, and college athletics.
Mhm.
Well, Charlie Ward said, I agree with the part about salary caps for players. Buyout clauses for coaches should be less or the number of years should be shorter. Some universities have a lot of dead money that they are paying, which could be going to sports programs.
Yep.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding. We've talked about how
Florida
massive
State's
the
one of them.
buyouts are. Absolutely, Florida State's one of those. LSU is one as well, but they seem to not be affected by that this year. But we're asking players to either take less or maybe eventually one day sign contracts.
Mhm.
Why don't we go the other way when it comes to these buyouts and
Yeah,
make sure that
it's fair.
the universities aren't going to be paying coach that gets fired, which means they were terrible at their job.
Correct.
$50 million.
Well, that's why we've had the conversations about having possible like incentives in the college football contracts in the sense of like you can get base amount. Here's your base amount, but if you hit X amount of yards or X amount of touchdowns or you play in X amount of games or you play in the bowl game, whatever, like you can make more, earn more
Everybody
money
makes
throughout your contract.
$50,000.
Yes, and
You-
you
then
can
you can
earn
make
more
$2
money.
million. Yeah.
Say,
Right.
like with a coach, you could do similar to where if you don't win baseline number of wins, whatever that number is for that particular program, then you don't get that next bonus or whatever the case may be. If you can end up getting, because part of it is recruiting, part of it is coaching, part of it is the portal. There's so many different factors now. So hey, if you have a top 20 recruiting class, then here's a bonus for your recruitment for that season. If you have a top 20 portal class, here's a bonus for that. But then also we need to look on the field and the product and your coaching, and so wins and bowl games and things like that. But I don't think
It's never
Paid for production.
I will say, did you see the Virginia Tech? The donation that Virginia Tech football just got $75 million for that. They said their next closest beyond that was a $20 million donation. Now they just got 75.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tennessee also got $130 million from, is it the owners of the Browns?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Oh, really?
I saw
They
that
have
earlier
some-
too.
Yeah,
Wow.
$130 million.
Can you imagine Charlie? Well, I'm sure Florida State fans would love to have Charlie Ward back, but can you
Heck yeah.
imagine him in the NIL and you'd be
Yeah.
in
I mean,
today's
he played for
offenses.
since we were talking about the NBA
was
Finals, stuff,
so
he played for the Knicks for many
Oh, yeah,
years.
he
Other
did.
teams too. But to have a player, at your sport, I mean, everyone always talks about Tim Tebow and throws his name around. Yeah, talk about a two-sport athlete.
Oh,
and the
Charlie
type,
as a
and
QB was
he's just a phenomenal,
unbelievable.
in addition to Tebow, he's a phenomenal human being.
Yep.
A couple more things in Lauren's lane. So Miami, we talked about them a little bit as far as the really good recruiting rankings. Miami on November 14th plays host to the Duke Blue Devils. Why is that interesting? Because Miami basically
took their-
stole
Yeah.
Duke's quarterback. And I thought about this in Darian Mensah. I read a good article about the background of Miami's pursuit of him and how Miami wanted a guy like a Brendan Sorsby. So you have to wonder if they had gotten him.
Man,
what
that could have been fun.
I know. What would have happened right now if he
fit right
never
in.
plays college football again? But don't you have to wonder since
But it's swept under the rug then.
for sure.
Yeah.
Since the Jaguars have a guy like a Wesley Williams, I'd love for the next person that interviews him from Duke, obviously, to be like, what do you think of the whole Darian Mensah thing? But it got me thinking about the defensive players that are still on Duke's team. When they face their former quarterback who up and left them in the middle of January.
Yeah.
Was that a game you go for the?
Yeah.
I don't even have to finish the
Yeah,
sentence.
his
Right.
face.
Right, just like
Try
when
to
Boston
bloody him
College
up.
faced
Yeah.
Thomas Castellanos.
Yeah.
Already
and
a big Blue Devils
Smash 'em.
fan
The
that
last
day.
thing in Lauren's lane, there's a high school football hire that I wanted to mention. Tony Gilbert will now be coaching the Atlantic Coast football team.
Wow.
All
Former
right.
Jaguar
Yeah,
and former
yeah,
Jaguars
yeah.
linebackers coach.
Yeah.
So so
OAC.
shout out to, exactly. Shout out to
Nice.
Tony Gilbert. That's right. All right, more to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Now, 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
What did I do?
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Go on.
Ignorance is bliss.
I'm listening to everything you say.
Mornings on 1010XL.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
Soccer fans, Michelob Ultra is going to pay somebody $90,000 to go to the FIFA World Cup 2026 final and bring the Superior Player of the Match trophy. Yes, I'm being serious right now. It's got some weight to it. This is the real thing, people. Michelob Ultra, $90,000. FIFA World Cup 2026 final. You watch the match, you get the honor of carrying the Superior Player of the Match trophy. That's a soccer fan's dream come true.
Enjoy the beautiful game with a cold Michelob Ultra, the official beer of World Cup 2026.
There's no doubt that we were in good hands when our son's shoulder and hip issues were diagnosed quickly by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. No matter what your orthopedic issue is, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take a look. You'll be glad you did.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, Tom McManus here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned First Coast business for nearly 20 years. Hurricane season is here. Don't wait for the first storm warning. Your fence is your first line of defense. Loose boards, weak posts, or damage can turn into big problems in high winds. Armstrong Fence Company handles repairs and builds from stadiums to backyards. Get a pre-storm fence check today. Call Armstrong Fence Company or search online. Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
I insist on complete honesty.
You can chime in anytime on the 1010XL text line.
Installed by Lifetime Flooring. If you have something to say to me, I wish you would just say it.
Share your opinion. Are you nuts? What? 641-1010.
That's crazy.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Hey friends, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Have you ever stored a gallon of leftover paint, opened the can years later, and it's rusty, crusty, and unusable? Next time, secure the lid tightly to ensure no leaks and store the can upside down. Oxygen can't get to it, therefore no rust and no crust. If you'd like more tips or have a question about a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
The 2026 schedule is here, and Jaguars football is officially back at the bench. With limited capacity this season, it's more important than ever to show up loud and create the ultimate home field advantage. From our biggest rivalries to can't-miss matchups, this is a season you won't want to miss. Single game tickets are on sale, and now's the time to lock in your seats for the games that matter most. Inventory is limited, and tickets are expected to go fast. Visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Come over here, sit next to me. We can see where things go naturally.
Rolling through this Thursday afternoon here on the First Coast, and our weather the last couple days has been absolutely spectacular. Right now, here in Jacksonville, FLA, it's 84 degrees and a little cloudy, but with a nice breeze, winds up to 14 miles per hour. I am not a meteorologist, but I feel like I'm impersonating one right now. 46% humidity. When was the last time in June we had less than 50% humidity?
It's so nice.
Honestly, perfect.
Absolutely gorgeous. We were talking off air about more of the women's football stuff that different organizations have hosted. So, the Jaguars did one that was on the field in 2013 when Mike Mularkey was the coach. And that's when I inadvertently kicked the football into one of the staffers'
groin?
Yeah.
You could say groin.
Yeah, you're right. I was looking, I was going to say like
nuts.
Where the sun don't shine. Yes. That's, yes.
The ball.
Way to go on it.
And he was like, yeah, you're not kicking again. I was like, I'm so sorry.
I did that at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta.
yeah,
they
that's
let you
super
kick field
fun.
goals. Mine went sideways straight into.
I have a feeling if you wanted to learn how to kick field goals, you could probably get taught by somebody over there.
Possibly.
The Jags, yeah.
I did a good job at the virtual
kick.
one at Fourscore.
Yeah, you were
I made
good at
all
that.
of them at that
Yeah,
one. I was
yeah.
I
See,
was
there
the
you
only
go.
one, so I was like, okay, maybe I'm good at this.
Yeah.
Kick it straight.
I feel like playing soccer can either make you good at kicking or terrible. And for me, it made me terrible because we were always taught to kick more like a line drive. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Kicking the field goal, not
Rather
to
than
get
having
that
like any arch on it.
Yeah. Josh Scobie, though, one time when we used to do the video portion of Lawrence Lane, we went to Bishop Kenny and he taught me how to kick field goals. I think I made like 2 out of the whole day. But hey, it was better than not making
Never
any.
a kicker for me.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Too much muscle.
I've tried to kick a couple times. No, I can kick. I just can't kick football for some reason. Won't go anywhere.
It's those dancers'
Kick a soccer
feet.
ball.
Maybe that's what it is.
That might be it. That might be
So
the
then in
big toe.
2014, the Jaguars held another type of football kind of discussion format. And that one, I got to MC that one. And that was when it was Gus Bradley and Jed Fish was the offensive coordinator. And that one was super cool, but that was all inside.
Yeah.
Like you said, like a Q&A type thing. But that didn't have the on-field stuff.
So you need a combination is what we're saying.
Yeah, I think
I think
then
you do.
some mimosas or something.
Yeah,
after.
I would love some
Yeah,
And then in
so-
2015, the Jaguars held the Meet Me at the 50. That was also obviously with Gus Bradley and his wife, Michaela Bradley. They brought Susie Colbert and John Gruden in.
Yeah.
And they did some stuff inside the stadium, but again, not on the field for the ladies.
Okay.
So I feel like, you want to
Combination.
have,
Need a
you
combo.
definitely want to have some sort of combination. Is
Well,
right.
Miller Electric Center could handle it, no problem.
Oh,
They
for
got
sure,
the
yeah.
classrooms, they got the field right there. Maybe in and out, no big deal.
And the
Could
cafeteria.
even feed you, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we were talking about this last June, as a matter of fact. This was just before you joined the show, Tom McManus. So Taylor and I were doing our stock up, stock down for Jaguars players through the off season. So just through the off season portion. So right now we're a little bit ahead of the end of the off season, obviously, because we have mandatory mini camp next week and then another couple OTAs. But I thought it was interesting because of how many of these players on both sides, the up and down, are no longer on this roster.
Okay.
So I'll just run through mine and Taylor can run through hers.
Just go back. So last year, this time last year.
Yeah, it was
you
June
were-
16th that we did it. So it was
Right
after
after
OTAs.
the
and mini
OTAs, we
camp.
said like post OTAs, who are your
stock is
stock
up,
up and
who's
who
down.
stock
Okay,
is down
okay,
post
Yeah,
camp.
so but ahead of training camp.
Yeah,
so
I
this
got
was
you.
not after training
I
camp.
got you.
All right, so for me, the stock up, I had several.
She had to have the starters.
I had several. De'Ami Brown, because he looked amazing
He
in
did.
the offseason workouts.
Yep.
Travis Etienne, I thought he looked fantastic. Andrew Wingard. And then I had 3 different cornerbacks, Jordan Lewis, Tyson Campbell, and Buster Brown. And then I had Devin Lloyd, Mason Smith, and Emmanuel Agba. All of them, for me, the stock up was because I thought they looked better than what I had anticipated them to look at that portion. And also because we were seeing Dewey running with the ones at that point in time. We were seeing Travis Etienne take those first team snaps as well. The cornerbacks also, if you remember, like other than when De'Ami Brown was catching it, the cornerbacks were breaking up a ton of passes. We were actually a little concerned about Trevor Lawrence at this point in time. So those were my guys that it was stock up. So of that group, the only 2 that are still on the team, Jordan Lewis and Buster Brown.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So and it shows you how much can change in an off season. But Taylor, your stock up?
Yeah, I remember my evaluation was kind of a combination of what they did that offseason, because some of the players I felt like because they brought in multiple other linebackers or whatever, whatever the position group was, I had concerns for other players, or I felt like they didn't address certain position groups. So I remember evaluating mine as a combination of what they addressed during that off season and then how camp looked. And so it was funny because I remember I was like so anti De'Ami Brown. I went back and listened to the episode today and I was like, he had 1 touchdown all season and then had a good postseason. I don't know why people were freaking out. But I was like, I hope he's good. I really hope he's good. So obviously that didn't work out. But mine was my first one was Caleb Ransaw, which obviously sucks because he ended up getting injured and didn't play all season. But I just remember during OTAs being like, so worried about the safety room going in because I didn't really like Eric Murray. You were still waiting for Antonio Johnson to really break through. You drafted a guy that didn't play safety in college. And I remember being like, oh, like Xavier Watts was right there. You could have had him. And I still kind of feel that way a little bit. But I remember post OTAs last year being like, man, Caleb Ransaw like really looked good. I feel like he could fit into this defense pretty quickly. So he was my number 1 in stock up. Travis Etienne was my number 2. I had Devin Lloyd, I had Agba, and I had Strange. Those were my 5 ups. So I guess the only one that Ransaw and Ogba didn't work out. Ogba, I don't even know, and Caleb Ransaw injury, obviously. But so it was kind of, when I was going through it, I was laughing, Tommy. I was telling Lauren this on break because I went back and listened to the segment, and I was like, she listed like 15 players, and she kept being like, I have like 3 more that I have stock ups on. And I was like, okay, I have like 5. Like, I don't know. And granted, we both, in the conversation, we talked about, we didn't include Brian Thomas Jr. in this, and we both said we didn't because we already had really high expectations, and we felt like already pre-OTAs, you felt like you were expecting a lot out of BTJ, which is interesting because then the season didn't turn out that way for Brian Thomas Jr. But no one mentioned a Parker Washington in that conversation whatsoever. No, there was a few guys where I was like, man, we didn't even list after camp. But at this point in time, it was all BTJ. And I remember being like, I don't even really know. I had some concerns about the wide receiver room, honestly, because even we were like, what is Travis Hunter? Like, how much is he going to play each side? So it was kind of cool to go back and listen to that conversation of how much changed in that year to how we felt and thought about certain position groups.
Yeah. I only had 9 players. Only 9.
I think there were 3 in our segment. They were at 12. I counted 12 that you listed when we actually were on air.
Diami was legit, man. I mean, look, when he came, I was with him. Like, he just had a good postseason. But then when he got here, you're like, wow, that's pretty fast. He's catching everything. The end of rounds, he was beating everyone to the corner. Thought he was going to be really good for our team. I mean, really, like a really productive, high energy type guy. And then he dropped it. I think it was against Cincinnati, right over the middle. Dropped it right in his damn hands. And like that was the end of him. Like
I felt like we were just fooled too many times of the wide receivers in camp that did well, where I was like, I need to see like it happen in a game and consistency throughout a season of him.
Yeah. What did you guys see out of Ogba? You both had Ogba. What did he show?
Well, I liked Ogba. That was my favorite offseason signing was Ogba because I was like, as a rotational piece, he had 5 and 6 sacks every season. So you can come in and you're behind Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker, who already can get to the quarterback and, create all this pressure. So you're not asking him to do a whole lot. You're, whatever. So it wasn't like I was expecting him to have double digit. I think I said he should have probably 5 or 6 easy in a minimal rotational role, and that didn't even happen.
No,
I think
he was a big miss too.
Also, for me, it was where they were playing them. Like if they were getting first team reps, like I said, that it was like, oh, okay, so they are seeing something in these guys too. And you can't always, it doesn't always obviously translate as to what's going to happen training camp, preseason, and then the regular season. But I remember thinking Ogba looks quick and he's going to contribute to this team. But I also had Mason Smith at that point in time. And then post training camp, I would have had Mason Smith on a completely different list.
He got hurt in the break, didn't he? His calf?
He did.
Was during the break.
Yeah. So post training camp, obviously would have had him stock down. My stock down players were Anton Harrison because of Liam Cohen's comments. He had made his comments right before we had this conversation. Javon Foster, at one point in time, I thought Javon Foster might be a starting tackle. We had Primetime had on Eli Drinkwitz, the head coach from Missouri, and he just raved about Javon Foster.
He was the first team
All-SEC.
All-SEC twice, I think. Yeah.
And I really thought this guy's going to be either left or right tackle, probably left because Anton Harrison's right.
Yeah,
but
when he first came in, I don't know. There was something about he just didn't look the part. He was just a big guy, but not like somebody that dominated in the SEC. You know what I mean? Just didn't look the part.
Mason Smith also not necessarily all SEC, but his freshman season at LSU, he was a game wrecker. And then also I had Yasir Abdullah. Just felt like he was going to get pushed out of the roster at that point in time, but obviously he's hung around. But Javon Foster, the only one of my stock down who's no longer on the roster.
I think Yasir has done a great job in the fact that, look, when he was at Louisville, he was known for rushing the passer. I don't think he's a pass rusher at this level, but he's found a role as a Sam backer and special teams, and he could play a long time. I think they like him enough to give him a shot to be the backup, play when called upon. But he's shown that, look, man, I could be a team player. I remember all you heard about him out of Louisville. He led the ACC in pressures, 57 or something like that. I was like, great, here we go. And then there were no pressures. But whatever, it's just a different game. But he's learned that, hey, okay, maybe I'm not that, but I could be this. And I think he's carved out a little niche and he's a really good special teams guy. Let's be honest, we need guys like that. We need a strong special teams unit.
I also had Javon Foster on my stock down. I felt like they brought in so many offensive linemen between free agency and then draft last year that I was like, it doesn't feel like it's in his favor in that sense. And then my other two were Jordan Jefferson and Chad Muma, who neither made it out of August. So my stock downs were definitely down.
Yeah, Muma.
I know. I hated the Jordan Jefferson pick from the moment it happened. Muma, I think he stuck around for a little bit, and some people kind of felt like he had a place. I just didn't quite feel like he fit a Coach Camp defense.
No, I don't think so. He's still playing, though.
Yeah, he went to Indy.
And then to
I think
the Pats. I think he went to the Super Bowl with the Pats.
Did that as well.
Yeah, so good for
speaking
him,
of
man.
guys no longer on the roster and their cap hits, so Tyson Campbell, $19.5 million dead cap. Gabe Davis, $14.6 million. Greg Newsome, $7 million. Darnell Savage, $6.2 million. And De'Ami Brown, at least, just $1.9 million. As far as
that
cap hits are concerned.
That Tyson Campbell one looks ugly at this point in time because the reason I was never a fan of Savage even getting him to begin, but when it comes to the whole reasonings we were hearing was like, oh, the fit, and Tyson didn't get interceptions and money, but then now there's a bunch of dead cap attached to him, and then you brought in Greg Newsome, who also never got interceptions and then didn't look like he fit either. So that was one of the worst moves we've seen this regime's make.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're gonna have misses.
Yeah,
they're
every GM
gonna happen.
misses, even the best do.
Everyone has them, but hopefully they didn't miss this year. That's all that matters.
Well, they didn't do much in free agency this year, so
Well, even with
but I
draft
know what
picks,
you mean.
with everybody bringing them together.
All right, the golden moment awaits on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
Wide open and pedals sticking to the metal.
The fans have risen to their feet.
This Sunday at Michigan International Speedway.
Holy cow, baby!
NASCAR is revved up by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on 1010 XL.
What if the next roof you put on your home was the last one? Not another replacement in 15 or 20 years, the last roof. Metlock Roofing is Florida's only manufacturer and installer of this exclusive roofing system. Engineered for strength, built for Florida weather, backed by a lifetime warranty. Imagine never needing another roof. Call 938-9933 or visit metlokroofing.com. Get your last roof today with Metlock. License number CCC 1335581.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. If you love your dad or husband, but their garage is a mess, well, I've got good news for you. Closets by Design's Father's Day sale is here. Imagine custom cabinets for tools and beach gear, storage walls that actually organize the chaos, and durable new garage flooring that makes the whole space feel brand new. It's the perfect gift for just about every dad. Right now, get 40% off plus an extra 15% off and free installation. Schedule your free in-home design consultation today at closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Imagine Dad's garage totally organized.
Looking for a real career with great pay and full benefits? Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. As a growing, family-owned company that cares about its employees, they're hiring lawn technicians in the Jacksonville area. No experience required. This is a salaried position with top industry pay. Full benefits, a 401k match, and paid training. Apply today at JulingtonCreekPestControl.com. Julington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Equal opportunity employer.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Let's go! Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening the whole group can enjoy? Discover the thrill of Sharks football. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. This week, it's Christmas in June. Be one of the first 2,000 fans and receive a free hat, courtesy of Fat Cat Tattoo. Get out of the heat and into the arena. This Saturday, June 6th. Kickoff, 7 o'clock, and tickets start at just $15. Wear your favorite ugly sweater, Santa hat, or any holiday gear you can find. Let's sing some carols, have some fun, and watch some exciting Sharks football. Bring the whole crew and try our family pack. Get 4 tickets and $50 in food or merchandise vouchers for only $100. Join us on the field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at just $15. To get yours, call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks!
Got a dent or a scratch that needs fixing? San Jose Collision in Mandarin offers expert auto body repair and works with all insurance. Family owned and locally trusted. San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, Checkmate mascot and cultural ambassador.
Summer is a perfect time to have your garage floor coating installed. With our chemicals drying even faster in the warmer weather, it's a busy time for us, but we can still keep our prices surprisingly affordable.
And with 0% financing available, you can enjoy your floor now and pay for it later.
And Chester can enjoy his fancy British tea that I have to pay for.
I do enjoy a nice Darjeeling, Brendan, and the quality is important.
And at Checkmate, the highest quality is our minimum standard.
On flooring and tea.
Gorgeous garage floors?
Check. Perfect installation?
Check. Easy payment options that make your great new floor affordable? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Golden moment for today has just been the conversation around the receiving contracts recently, and obviously how that affects Parker Washington. Then we kind of led that into Brenton Strange, too. Those are two contracts that we hope the Jaguars to be able to keep those two players here. And so
they better.
Yeah, it will be. And you throw kind of Antonio Johnson. That's another name that is wrapped up into those player contracts you want to see and stay. I think I think all three also you want to see another season. I think that would be one of the things. Like, let's see all three of those guys have a year comparable or even a little better to what they had last year, so you can feel like you're really justifying the money that you're probably going to have to pay them either way.
Right. And you'd love for that to be the thing, but you're not going to have that luxury. You know what I mean? Because the agent's like, bump that.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting for you. Don't want him. You don't see his value. You don't see his value. You don't think he's going to do what he did last year. Okay, fine. Well, we'll let him do it last year and what he did last year, and then we'll go test the market and see what happens. And they may say, fine, go test the market. And if it's not what you're looking for, maybe we'll bring you back. You know, that's part of the game that they'll have to play. But it's risky because you can lose guys. You know, look, you take the fifth-year option they didn't pay.
Devin Lloyd.
Yeah.
That was your choice, whatever, but you had no protection. He's like, all right, well, I had a great year and I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You know, someone gave me some money. I'm gonna leave. You don't want that to happen with either one of those guys. Different scenario,
But that's why in theory, you should have picked up his fifth-year option last year. That's the reason that you have that option from the NFL for those first-round picks, so you don't have to pay them until
they show that they're
Exactly.
and sometimes it takes that fifth year, you know, or fourth year.
Right. Like Jaden Reed, who we talked about in comparison with Parker Washington's contract, he was drafted 50th overall. Parker, obviously, much later. But either way, not in the first round of those first 32 picks. And so that's why they paid him this offseason after he's only been in for 3 years, whereas Watson, it was another year.
Right. I don't know. For if I'm James Gladstone and Liam, and Tony, of course, those two young men are guys you can build around. They're the kind of player you want. They're tough. I'm sure they take to their hard coaching fine. You know, you see it in their play and their demeanor. They lead by example. They do their job. They get better every year, so you know they're working on their craft. Like that means something to them. So I would find a way to pay them. I would. Because you just don't want to get into that situation where now we got to find a replacement. Because look, you do take it personal.
Yeah,
you do. You sit there like, what do you mean? I'm not. Wait, here's his stats. Here's Christian Watson's. I'm as good or better, and you don't want to pay me. You're gonna wait. Okay, we'll wait.
Yeah. So when would you pay them?
I would get it done as soon as we can.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I
For
have
all
them,
three.
I would. Antonio would be third. I'd wait a little bit on Antonio. I don't want to lose him at all. But I mean, look, you just got to have that open conversation. Like, guys, it can't be all three at once. We might have to spread it out a bit. We might have to figure it out a little bit. But I would look at him a little bit later. But P. Wash and Brenton, I wouldn't wait.
I wonder if you waited just a week or two for the Parker Washington one, so that it doesn't get compared directly to this Christian Watson deal. Because I don't think they're going to give him that kind of money.
I think they're going to have to give him pretty close.
They're gonna give him
I don't
good
know if
money.
he'll
I don't
say
think it's
yes
gonna be
to
that.
not. I don't know if he will. Because he may say, okay, then wait, I'll just wait and bet on myself and have a better season and get more money. I don't know if you can risk it being like, well, we'll give you 22. When he's like, why? When Watson just got
I think
27.
and again, this devil's
getting
advocate,
20.
the only argument, a devil's advocate,
Yeah.
is I feel like Parker he's really good. Obviously, he's very talented, but he's excelling in this offense in his role, or at least started to. Would he do that just anywhere else? Maybe. I'm not
I mean,
saying
we
he
had that
wouldn't.
conversation with Lloyd, and Lloyd is taking that chance going somewhere else.
Absolutely. I don't know. I mean, like with Watson, I could say, okay, look, they got rid of Daubs. He's no longer there. They grabbed he's clearly their number one guy. He's their big play threat down the field. He doesn't, he's part of our system, but it's not like, a lot of times the slot guys are just set up for success because they're one-on-one or they're in motion or they got a crosser with a rub. You know what I mean? Like they have more, I don't know, more part of a system, if you will, that could be there. But on that other side, then if I'm the agent, I'm like, all right, well, we want 25 then. We're not taking 22, like 20. No, I mean, you want to compare the two guys in Green Bay, the $17 million a year and $27 million a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be somewhere in between there. You got to be.
Yeah.
But I would think you got to be closer to the
27.
Watson. For me, if I'm Parker, right? Now he's risking too, because what happens? Knock on wood, you get hurt.
Yeah.
And now you're not where you want to be.
Yeah. To me, but again, I think Christian Watson's deal is bad as far as for the Packers. I don't think that they should have paid him at this point in time the type of money that they paid him. And I look at those other deals like we talked about with Rashid Shaheed, Jacoby Myers, like deals that are really good for the player. I mean, $17 million a year or $20 million a year is a really good contract at this point in time for a 6th-round pick. He should probably get a little bit more than that, but I wouldn't put anywhere near $27 million, me personally.
Yeah, I think the difference with Jacoby's about to be 30 years old. Parker's only 24. So I think when you value age into that, that comes into some of those contracts too. And if you go back and you look at Jacoby Myers, for example, his 3rd season, Parker is doing what Jacoby did in his 3rd season in the NFL. So if you want to compare, okay, if the trajectories are similar, which is what you're doing, you're projecting these contracts, then you're assuming that he's going to be able to keep in that range. And when you have a player that's heading into, the age 30 compared to Parker's like, I'm only 24 years old. I'm in my 3rd season. You've seen me progress every single year. And then this year when I was able to be a focus in this offense, I stepped in and I did exactly what I needed to do. I just think he's going to have enough arguments to say, give me as close to that Christian Watson as you can possibly get.
I think so too. And I don't know, sometimes you just got to pay him. I always felt with, and I'm sure a lot of people don't agree, but I would have paid Jalen Ramsey way back. I would have said, I recognize you as one of the best defenders in the league. I'm not going to pay you the best, but I'm going to make sure that you're really happy. And maybe your attitude will change. I know that sounds like, well, you shouldn't. But that was the kind of guy that that kind of player, that kind of athlete, like you're like, all right, he's clearly outplayed his rookie deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's not happy. He's going to give us a problem, obviously, with the Brinks truck and all that crap. But he was a really good player. Maybe not a really good teammate. He quit on his team. Obviously, we don't like that. But before all that even happened, I would have said, all right, let's just make this kid one of the highest paid DBs and keep him here. And he's going to be a cornerstone for a long time.
I think there were just too many issues.
Well, there were. He caused some problems, But again, it's
But
talent.
Parker and Britton are not maybe quite as talented as him, but definitely have better attitudes.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. There's like,
It's like
and
the
I
A.J.
feel
Brown
this more about.
situation in
I
Philly.
feel about Parker more than Brent, and I really like Brent, but I just feel like you don't want to let that kid. He's gotten better every year. He's everything you want out of a player. He's very productive. He's very exciting. His acts awesome. He's dependable. He's reliable. You just pay him. Find a way to pay him. Now, not overpay him. You don't just open up the vault, but you find a way to be like, all right, listen, make a case. This is why we think you're valued here. This is what we'd like to offer. Don't lowball him thinking you're going to get some kind of discount, because I wouldn't take one either if I was him. Get as much as you can and try to get close to that number, because that's the number they're going to be looking at.
Yeah.
And if, like I said earlier, that's what you do when you're up for a contract. Who's making what? Who do I compare myself to? Oh, okay. I'm close
You're
to that.
5'11", not 6'4".
But does that matter?
Yeah.
I mean, Steve Smith was 5'9". He was one of the great wide. You know what I mean? Like that shouldn't.
Play
yards per
different.
catch.
You're a different type of wide
Yards per
receiver. That doesn't
catches.
make you
Now
a
that's
yards
an
per
argument.
catch.
That's a little different.
You're just going to compare. That's what they do. They compare everything.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
hope he gets his deal soon so we can keep hashing this out as far as like what he was worth and what the Jaguars thought he was worth.
And I will look. They both. One thing they have in common. They both had great second halves of the year last year.
Mhm.
I mean, Watson was having a really good year the last 10 weeks, and so was Travis
Parker. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, one segment to go before we turn it over to the Frangie Show. Keep it right here for the Pest of the Day, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Frank Frangie here with Coach Delaney from Coil Fencing. For years, your offenses have been putting up a lot of yards and points at Fletcher. I hear Coil also gains a lot of yards in the fence world.
Yes, Frank. Coil Fencing has been serving the Jacksonville community and general contractors for 99 years. We fence tens of thousands of commercial and residential yards, all while maintaining an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau.
99 years?
That's right. Some might call it a dynasty.
To schedule your appointment, visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
Picking here, or maybe you should call me Dreamfinders Danny. Look what Dreamfinders is doing again, an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down the rate and get in the game. You heard me right, a 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Hey, I know how awful it is to get injured, but never due to someone else's negligence like many of you. Tom McManus here. If this speaks directly to you, check out Morgan & Morgan, largest personal injury law firm in the nation. 1,000 lawyers, 100 offices across the nation, and over $30 billion recovered for all their clients. And guess what? They don't get a single dime unless you do. A proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days, but now with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect, get paid. Dial pound law to sell or check out forthepeople.com.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnik Chevrolet is proud to be a 9-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award. Trust me, I know this. I've been dealing with Nimnik forever, and they really are that good. You know, for 3 generations, Nimnik's been the place customers keep coming back to. Customers like me, treating you right, giving the most back to our community, more choices and better prices. It's just the best place to buy cars, and I can promise you that. So who gives you the best experience when you're buying a car? Nobody but Nimnik. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Whether you're undertaking a major home renovation or just a simple repair request, American Electrical is your 5-star Jacksonville-based electrician to get the work done right. Experienced design building department working seamlessly with their electrical contracting department to help you create beautiful lighting spaces and electrical plans that make your house flow. And remember, with American Electrical, it's wired right at a fair price. Call American Electric at 737-7770. Look for that red, white, and blue eagle on the side of their truck, and you'll know it's American Electrical.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, I've heard you talk about the quality philosophy of Underwoods. Just what is that?
Frank, simply stated, the Underwood quality philosophy is fine jewelry and gifts will bring customers back and create new customers through the endorsements given to Underwoods by our satisfied customers. However, it's our definition of quality that's really been the Underwood difference, because quality has to go beyond materials and craftsmanship and has to include things like design, how it's presented, our service, our integrity, a customer's experience in our store, and the satisfaction a customer feels when they've chosen a special gift from Underwoods. A person or a company earns a reputation over a long period of time. And in Underwoods, we know that you earn your reputation every day, because that good reputation can be lost in a matter of days if you're not committed to doing the right thing for the long term.
That's Underwood, serving excellence in North Florida since 1928 in San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Hey, this is Tony from Tony D's New York Pizza. You believe I've been making pizza here in Jacksonville for over 20 years? Thanks for the support and good times. We appreciate your business, and we're looking forward to another 20 years. Come out and see us at Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Frank Frangie here. I've been telling you about Stanley Pools for years. But you know my favorite thing about this family-owned company? They take such good care of my pool. All I have to do is relax and enjoy it. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and their weekly maintenance makes owning a pool effortless. You can trust Stanley Pools to build your pool or upgrade it. They've done both for me. Call 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
It's Men's Health Month, and Ackerman Urology reminds you that early detection matters for prostate health. If you're over 40, now's the time to get checked. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. So don't wait. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Time now for the Pest of the Day, as always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. They do a fantastic job taking care of any pest issues we have at our house, as well as ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. You'll be at ViStar Ballpark tonight.
I will.
There we go.
Perfect weather for it,
Oh,
too.
yeah,
Heck
cool.
yeah, especially
That'd
with
be
that
fun.
breeze.
And I've won 4 straight. So
That's right. Hopefully
keep it
that
rolling.
the jumbo shrimp hit some balls out of the ballpark thanks to the breeze. But
yeah.
Nashville
Okay.
Sound
Don't carry out.
do not. All right,
I'll blow them back in.
Exactly. The pests of the day today are going to be the fans last night at NBA Finals Game 1. The one fan that rushed onto the court now has been banned for life, wanting the selfie with Victor Wembanyama. You're an idiot. No offense, but you're an idiot. And then also the fans that were apparently saying some profane things to Jalen Brunson. Now Amazon Prime is investigating, and the NBA is investigating as to exactly what they said. And so if they were to say stuff that obviously the NBA disagrees with, they also could potentially be banned for life. And I don't feel like it's worth that. I understand you want to cheer against, obviously, well, some of these fans were the hometown fans, but for the Wemby selfie, I mean. But as far as cheering against the Knicks and Brunson and OG and all that stuff, I get that.
Yeah.
But just don't be an idiot to where you can never again go to an NBA game. That seems
You just spent a lot of
ridiculous.
money to getting a game to get banned for life from something.
Finals game.
Yeah.
So not worth it to me. I'd much rather be at the game. And then I wanted to mention last night, Texas beat Texas Tech 7-3 in women's softball. The reason nobody knows, other than college softball fans, is because they played that game at 8 p.m. last night. And the NBA game started at 8:30.
Yeah, not a good idea.
right.
So I watched the first 30 or so minutes before the NBA game started, but I just didn't understand, why wouldn't you put that game at 6:30 or 7 p.m.? Even 6 o'clock would be fine by me, but get the game in before the NBA game starts.
Yeah, you're not going to win that one.
Definitely
That's
not.
for sure.
You have prime opportunity too, because people are ready to be watching something. They're like, "Ooh, NBA Finals on tonight. Let's make dinner, sit down, watch some sports." So get that on at 6, and then you
Right.
lead right into the NBA game.
Yeah,
But-
that's what I would have done, but they'd never ask me. All right, let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes, 2 important questions to ask you. One is about Loser Monday, but 2, what do you think a Parker Washington contract extension will look like?
I would think it'll be maybe not what Watson just got, but maybe what Watson get, 4 years, 110.
His was 27.
27.5
And
million.
Jaden Reed's was 22.
Say 4 years, 90, something like that.
Okay.
4 years, 90 million, probably something like that is what I would think. If it's done now,
Yeah.
now if he try and do it in December and he's on pace for 1,100 yards and 12 touchdowns,
Then it's not gonna look
then
like
it'll be
that.
the Christian Watson money.
But isn't it
But-
nice that we don't
or
have to
more.
just completely discount a player getting a contract in season like we used to have to?
Yeah, I mean, and I would guess that it'll get done probably like last week of August, but yeah, it's interesting because you don't it's one of those things where you could see the players' camp and being a little pushy with it, and you
Right.
could see the organization being like, well, we've only really seen an 11-game stretch, but I mean, it sounds like they're both in a really good place, so I do think they'll get it done. But it is interesting. Saw Drake London get huge money, and then Watson get lower level money. So I would think Washington would fall a little bit below where Watson got, and I think that'd be fair for both parties. And so hopefully they get it done.
So 22.5 million would be kind of where your head is at. Okay. And then Loser Monday.
Losing, Frank had a great night. It was scary for him early because he had Brunson.
Yeah.
So it looked like he might lose his top guy, and then Brunson came back and was a warrior and scored 30. Yeah. So we'll see if it affects him throughout the series because you never know with those things. It almost seems like when an athlete hurts an ankle or a knee, they can kind of get through it in the immediate hour or two, but then it's like the next day when it's you worry about like. Is it really okay? But Frank had a great night, and then JJ and I are neck and neck. I'm like 2 points up on JJ. So I was very happy with that because when you draft third, you just gotta stay in the race.
Yeah,
like I mean,
I didn't know
you just gotta you just gotta like stay in it and hope that you can survive because it's almost always like. There's a star on one team and a star on the other team, and then you're basically picking the best of the Robins, when you're 3 and 4. So, but anyway, we'll get to all that
Scottie
coming
Pippen
up.
would have been just fine.
Scottie Pippen would have been pretty good, but I still would have rather had Jordan.
100%.
So fun Frangie show coming up. Frank's going to be joined by Dr. Stuart Bell. He's the new Florida president that they have named, and so. He was there at Alabama with Saban, building that dynasty. He's very pro sports.
Yes.
So that'll be an exciting conversation to get to know him a little bit, get Gator fans excited about his potential arrival because he is so athletics friendly. And Pete Prisco join us at 5:15 to talk Jags and NFL.
All right, sounds good. Thanks,
Thank you.
Hayes. We will be listening. Yeah, that Loser Monday, it gets intense. That is for sure.
I would be so stressed watching the games if we did something like that.
That means we'll have to one day. Just kidding.
That's right.
All right, that'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, a.k.a. Friday. But don't go anywhere. The